I believe every one of us have experienced being overly emotional at one time or another, especially when it comes to like being frustrated or things of that nature. We have to be responsible for our own actions, and that's just my opinion. But there's also times when your emotions are intentionally triggered, and you have to be able to recognize those times, because if you don't, you can potentially, of course, be called crazy. Why? Because your emotions are intentionally being triggered. Now, you have to learn how to assess yourself, not the situation, but yourself. You have to learn how to remove yourself from a situation that's triggering you. You have to learn how to remove yourself from a situation to where you feel as if the situation itself can make you overly reactive. Now, anger, frustration, even having a temper, these are real things, of course. However, people know you. The people that know you, they know you. They know your weaknesses. They know the things that can trigger you. And sometimes, if you allow it, you'll be intentionally triggered. And sometimes, giving a reaction can give justification for being called crazy. It can give justification for false implications. And that's not something that you want to wrap yourself around. That's not something that you want to walk yourself into. You have to learn how to breathe. Better yet, do something that I have learned to do. And this is just a suggestion. When I'm overly emotional, especially when it comes down to frustrations, go stand in front of a mirror. Go stand in front of a mirror and look at yourself. First of all, you're going to find yourself in a position to where you need to calm down in order to actually look at yourself. Because you're not going to like what you see in the mirror when you are overly reactive. But force yourself to look at yourself in the mirror. Now, this may not work for everyone. And again, it's just a suggestion. It's just something that I do. I'm no doctor or anything, but it's just a suggestion. I know it works for me. And who knows, maybe it can possibly work for you as well. If you ever feel super frustrated, if you're ever in a situation or a position to where whatever is going on around you is so frustrating that it's making your emotions get all tangled up, go stand in front of a mirror. Excuse yourself and go stand in front of a mirror and stare at yourself. I don't care if you have to hold on to the sides of the sink. Just stare at yourself. And then start asking yourself some questions. You don't have to verbalize it. You can just look at yourself and internally ask yourself some questions. The emotions that you're feeling, however it is that you're about to react, is it worth it? Is it worth it at all? Then ask yourself, do you love yourself enough to just breathe? Just breathe or walk away. There's no shame in walking away and taking some time out for yourself unapologetically. Not asking for permission. There's a time and place for that, to where, it's a mutual understanding that, hey, I need to take some time for myself. However, if it's a situation to where emotions are heightened, then love yourself enough to just walk away. Just walk away. Walk as long as you need to walk. Walk as far as you need to walk to bring your emotions back into balance. I think that doing that, it will give yourself some time to get your emotions back into balance. And even after you do that, my opinion, you should still, after your emotions are balanced, I do not feel that you should, depending on the situation and how severe it is. If it's a very severe situation, my suggestion, and this is just my opinion, even after you balance your emotions, then still take more time. Don't revisit that situation right after you balance yourself, because you can potentially put yourself right back in the same situation you just balanced yourself from. So just love yourself enough to walk away sometimes. You don't want to ever put yourself in a position for any reason to allow yourself or anyone else to intentionally trigger you and have you acting out of emotions And I say yourself because you have to take accountability for your own actions. You know, your reaction is a choice, and you yourself make that choice. Even if someone is intentionally trying to trigger you to overreact, you have the choice to react or not to react. And I feel you should do whatever it takes to react in a balanced way. And if you're not in the mindset of being able to react in a balanced way, then I believe you should leave the situation until you are. Because nothing good can come of you overreacting. Because of course, if you react, let's say you throw the remote control on the floor, you know, because you're frustrated. Or let's say you say something that you have to apologize for later. It's just not worth it. It's just totally not worth you being unbalanced. It's not worth it. Just love yourself enough and give yourself the permission to walk away. Give yourself the permission to do that. You know, because again, people who know you know your weaknesses, and you know your weaknesses, and you're the first one to know when your emotions are being triggered. And at that very moment, as soon as you feel your emotions are starting to get tangled up, make that decision right then and right there. That's what I do. Make that decision right then and right there to do something about it. Don't just go forward and let your emotions get more and more tangled. It's just not going to end well, because we know we've all said things that we didn't mean. We've all done things that we didn't mean. However, again, I do believe in accountability. And so you have to be accountable for the things that you say or the things that you do. And you don't want to find yourself in a situation to where your reaction is the total opposite of your true character. You know, your emotions getting the best of you can truly put you in a position to where you may say something that is just not your character. It is out of emotions. And I do feel like everyone has done that before. You know, it's not targeted to any one person or any demographic. Everyone has said something that they had to apologize for later. Everyone has done something that they had to apologize for later. But there's no shame in walking away. You know, there is no shame in being silent sometimes. Sometimes be silent. And if you feel as if being silent is allowing your emotions to get triggered even more, then that's a good time to walk away, because there's no shame in walking away. There's no shame in being silent. There's no shame in choosing to balance your emotions over being reactive. You have to love yourself enough to choose to want to be balanced. It's a choice. And just love yourself enough to not allow anyone else, including yourself, and that's the important part, including yourself, to intentionally trigger your emotions. You know, you're not crazy if you choose balance over chaos. You are not crazy if you choose to walk away. You're not crazy if you choose to not react or to just be silent. You're not crazy. I've learned to do all of those things to be able to balance my emotions. And it's not easy at first, but you get used to it. The more you love yourself, you get used to it. And then you start to understand and you start to see the benefit of walking away or being silent, or, you know, just taking some time out, looking in the mirror. Just know that you're not crazy if you choose balance over chaos. You're not crazy if you choose to not react. You're not crazy if you choose to take some time out and regroup. It doesn't make you crazy to do that. Now, none of us is perfect, and it's easier said than done, but I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it for yourself, and that's all that really matters. So at least give those things a try. If you feel like your emotions are all over the place, just give those things a try. And if you feel you need more help than that, then absolutely go to the professionals. You know, for anger management or anything of that nature, go to the professionals. Because I'm no professional, this is just my suggestion. But these things kind of work for me, and maybe it'll work for you too, because I make sure I do these things so I can keep myself balanced, so that nobody can call me crazy because I'm not crazy, and neither are you.